Hey guys, welcome to yet another deck profile here on the channel. If you guys are enjoying this kind of content, make sure to leave a like to let me know. And maybe think about subscribing because we are so close to hitting 100 and hitting triple digits will be a great way to end the year. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Today we are looking at a day one build of Drajeweled. Real quick look at the ride line over here. 0 does 0 things. Grade 1, when you ride over him, you get to call him out to Rearguard Circle. And that's cool because when he attacks or boosts, he gets a nice +5 for 13 and then goes right back into the soul. For the grade 2, when you ride on him with a Drajeweled card, you get to soul charge 1 and draw a card if you have at least 3 different grades in the soul. Spoilers, there's a 0, 1, 2, there's 3 different grades right there. On top of that, if he hits, you have the ability to soul charge 1, which is great because you do want to early game pressure in this deck, and on hit skills are kind of good there. Of course, the reason that you want to pressure as fast as possible is the boy himself. So like the other 2 trial deck bosses, he has another trial deck form that he gets a +5 when you meet the condition the deck does, or that you just treat him as another Persona ride. But whatever, we're just running him because his first skill is kind of good. And that is once per turn, you counterblast 1 and soul charge 2. If the cards you soul charge have different grades, you could draw a card. Potential +1 if you hit 2 different grades. And just the soul charge 2 is nice for some certain combo pieces that you run the deck. You do want different grades in there though, because his main skill is that when he attacks, he soul blasts 4 different grade cards. And if you do that, you reset their attack down to 1. Not 1,000, not 100, 1. This is great. He gets around defensive triggers if you're able to attack with a Rearguard first. And on top of that, he also gets a crit if they happen to be at grade 3. So really good. This is a really offensive deck, as you may imagine. And like I said, you do want to try and rush them early just so you get to that attack reset skill when they're on like 3 or 4 damage and it starts mattering. For the rest of grade 3s, of course, we're running 3 copies of the Persona ride. On top of that, you're going to be running 3 Wrestle Gears in here, who says that when he attacks Vanguard, if you soul blasted 4 more at the same time this turn, spoilers, that's what he does. You're going to be seeing a lot of cards that say that. You get to put a card from hand to soul, draw a card, and retire something on the Rearguard. This is great. This is one of the many ways that your dragons have the ability to recycle your soul, maintain that 4 different grades in soul at all times, and the ability to draw a card and retire one is always fantastic. On to grade 2s, start of the show is definitely Roller, who has 2 abilities. The first one being that if he attacks a grade 3 or greater, if you have 4 or more different grades in soul, he's going to get a +10. Last till the end of turn. And that's important because second ability, when you do the soul blast 4 thing, you counterblast 1 and resand him. So this is your resander for the deck, which means that you will be getting 4 to 5 attacks per turn if you have that. That being said, he does cost a counterblast, so there's a limited number of times you can do it. Speaking of counterblast, this is another rare dragon from the sets who, on place, has a counterblast 1 to choose a card from your drop zone, put it back into your soul, and if you happen to have 4 more different grades when this happens, he gets +10 till end of turn. That 20k attack does matter because once you do your attack reset, that's going to be a minimum 1 card you guard if they have 1 to 20k front triggers in hand. If not, that's at least 2 cards. Like, even if they have a trigger, that's a trigger plus another card to hit your 20k threshold. And add an any boost to that, it's minimum 2 card guard on anything, which means that like your minimalistic attacks are going to be a 6 card guard out of hand, not including the Vanguard drive checks. Final grade 2 is more of a flex spot for me. We're running this thing, the Freezing, Amazing Frost, Jack Frost. On place, soul blast 1, draw a card, choose a card from hand, put it in the soul. The rest effect doesn't matter because that's designed for chaos and you're not going to have a large number of cards in your soul. But you know, it's just another fixer. There's other options like Quihagra, the grade 2 that came out of the start deck, extra pack thingy, or anything that has a non-hit effect. I just went with this because it does have the ability to fix your grades in soul, and you want to be able to soul blast those 4 different grades at all points in time. Moving on to grade 1, start things off with our best friend, Falcade. I have 2 friendly rares because these are friendly friends. So, real simple effect. When it boosts, choose a card from your drop zone that does not have a grade in your soul and put it in your soul. This is like the best card in the deck. This always guarantees that you have your 4th soul. I've had some games where I had 3 and I was able to hit my 4th thanks to his ability to proc that on boost. And yeah, your optimal first turn is to always open these. Always open this so your ride deck does not matter. Whatever you drop for ride deck instantly goes right back in the soul. It fixes everything. It is going to whiff sometimes, which makes me want to cut it down a little bit, but you always want to open it, so having the 4 there is super important. A card that is kind of important, but I don't run 4 of, is Dragon. When your Vanguard does the Soul Blast 4 thing, Counterblast 1, check your top two. One goes to hand, one goes to soul. Effectively, it's a scry 2, soul charge 1, draw 1. But you're not always going to use it. Like I said, you use a lot of Kind Blast in this deck, so you kind of have to pick and choose what you want to Kind Blast for. Final grade 1 is not a perfect guard. This is the first time I've ever put Swirler in a Darkseid deck because I don't play Bear Magnus or Bruce. I feel like I shouldn't need to describe this to any seasoned Vanguard player. On place, you get Soul Charge 1. Great, you can finish the effect right there. But if you happen to be at grade 3, whenever you Soul Charge, he gets a +5. It's fantastic. He becomes a 13k on his own by activating effect. Or don't forget that Drajeweled has that ability to Soul Charge too. So effectively, as long as he's on board, you always have an 18k booster minimum. And that's going to make your columns just big boys. That's all there is to it. Like, there's a reason that this card is so freaking expensive, and I'm so happy that I've had to play it for the longest time. Of course, if you don't have Swirlers, there are alternatives to this. Gungaram has the exact same on-place Soul Charge. There's also, once again, the cards that come out of the Structure deck, like Fulgriz, and the other one that I don't remember on top of my head. They let you filter Soul Charge. Anything that will let you change your soul is just fantastic. Like, you can honestly just run Start deck cards and Volcade or something like that if you want to. Perfect cards. There they are. You can run the shield thing if you want to. I don't know if it matters right now because we aren't seeing too many grade 4s in the meta. But if you think it's important, just sub out one of these for the Elemental Sanctuary, whatever it's called thing. Finally, we got triggers. Over triggers pretty obvious. I mean, you are doing pressure to the deck, so let's make it pressure to the deck. Effectively, if you can cue this off, your Vanguard is always going to be swinging 23 triple damage. That's fair and balanced. And I love this art so much. Like, Butcher Road, thank you for giving us a Swirl exclusive. This looks so cool. You punched him a lot. You punched him a lot. Punched him a lot. You should run the effect crit in here just because it lets you Soul Charge on its own, but I just didn't feel like taking them out of Greed On, and we have more of a Circus motif here between these secrets. Circus, heal. And we round things off with 3 front triggers. Just because, like I said, you want to make your attacks as threatening as possible, as fast as possible. So front trigger seemed optimal to me here. You do have a decent amount of built-in draw from some of your effects. If you really want to, you can run that draw, but I've found that you do tech out pretty quickly if you do activate your effects on a consistent rate. Also 20k shield in case you need it defensively. So that's a real quick profile on this build. Like I said, this is more of a day 1 thing, so there's definitely a lot of things that you can adjust in here. Like I already suggested the Trial Deck cards or Gungaram, stuff like that. But in general, it just seems like a very consistent build. Like, your key thing is to just rush them as fast as possible and always maintain the 4 different grades in Soul. Real quick on my matchups I've had since then, I've gone to 2 different locals at 2 places. First one, beat Yo. Didn't really seem to be too much of an issue as long as you know how to guard against the Vanguard thing. Prison, managed to beat that. It wasn't 2-1 though. I did get over triggered, and brand over triggers, if they hit at the right time, you just lose. Beyond that, I didn't really seem to have too much of a problem in that matchup. It did suck to get my cards back because, like I said, resources are huge in this deck. And as you know, prison is a tug of war, so the more you pay to the prison, the harder it's going to be. Just be strategic as much as you can when giving them targets. My match that day was my Heart Nirvana. We just curb stomped it. I think that was the one game that I've gone over trigger offensively early game. I mean, not much to say about Darkseid over trigger. You can get it offensively, you win the game. Speaking of Darkseid, day 2 was all Dark States. Back-to-back mirror matches. Ended up losing the first one. There was a lot of trigger luck back there, but I mean, I was playing against a well-known Saki opponent that always has main character luck, so. Second round there, though, wasn't a mirror match. I ended up curve stomping on that side. I think what you do in the mirror match is you just go for it. You want to go second, you want to try to open up a grade 1 to get a second attack, and that grade 1 helps out a lot because it does bait them if they want to get rid of the card. But at the same time, that leaves you at much lower damage, which is great when they go into their Drajeweled turn without the crit. Then final match there was grade 3 Bruce. Once again, curve stomp. I don't know how I described the Bruce matchup. Bruce is such a weird deck to play against now. And you have to be a big brain to figure out which pieces do what, but I don't know. Like I said, just Jeremy went for I won the first few days, and I really enjoy this build a lot. So I post for you guys before anything happens. As always, if you want to help support the channel, make sure to check out Raise Energy for a good and healthy energy drink. My affiliate code SkyRidge will save you 15% on any of your online purchases. Of course, TCG Player. I've been listening to a couple of set stuff recently, as well as completely repricing everything. So I try to keep up to date with that. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, please think about subscribing. We're so close to hitting 100 when I record this, and I would love to end the year in triple digits. I should have one more Vanguard video coming your way in a few days, hopefully before Christmas, so you guys can watch it during the holiday break. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Always embrace the infinite. I'm tired. I've been up since like 6 in the morning I've been up since like 7 in the morning for work, and then went to the locals after that and then recorded this video.